I'm Jerome Anthony, and here with Takshila Sugatapala, who's also on this Zoom meeting to do this presentation based on our white paper, which we called I'm a Product Owner, and I want to run load test. We are from Asia Pacific Software Technologies. It's an Australian-based software company with development centers in Sri Lanka. We are a custom software development and quality assurance consultancy specializing in building cloud SaaS applications, mobile applications, GS platforms, that sort of thing. We thank PNSQC for this opportunity, for allowing us to submit the white paper and to allow presenting at this conference. The white paper was a team effort. I would like to thank the co-authors of the white paper who participated on this. And who also helped us prepare this presentation. Myself, I am a software engineer with 20 plus years of industry experience. I'm also a AWS solutions architect. And Takshila, a bit about yourself, please.
Yeah, thanks, Jerome. Hello, everyone. So I'm Takshila and currently working as a test lead for Asia Pacific Tech. And I have more than 6+ years of experience in software industry and also have been worked in different domains and also an ISTQB certified tester. Jerome?
Yeah, thank you. Agenda, I think we want to establish a broad kind of a definition of load testing and what leads to it. The white paper, we did a study about the current sentiment about load testing tools, and we want to do a couple of demonstrations there onwards. Moving on to the definition part, Takshila.
Yes. So most of the companies today are more focusing on functional testing and giving some less priority to non-functional testing, I'm guessing. And so I think we need to pay more attention on the non-functional testing as well, because from these non-functional testings, we can identify the issues with related to the scalability of our application, and we can get a confidence on our web applications. So, so the load testing is a part of a critical part of the non-functional testing. So, so we need to ensure that our application is stable enough for the for release to the customer. So doesn't matter, it can be built by any kind of platforms like SaaS platform or any we can build up our applications from outside consulting firms. So but there could be any type of performance issues in any platform that we might not expect it. So I think it is better to be proactive to make sure the apps we build can handle the load without any issues.
Yeah, so I think this one particularly, unless you have built the software with in-house dev team, essentially the software could be a black box to you. In that case, do you ignore and without knowing how the platform is actually running, are you going to just take the chance? I think that's a good question to ask, depending on how the software, the application was actually built.
Yeah, yes, Jerome. So by doing load testing, we can simulate the real use actions and user behaviors of the applications, and we can identify the issues related to those testings, and we can fix them early as possible, and that will result to a better customer experience. And also, we may
I
think
think
about, yeah, sure.
sorry. I think another way was like, even though this is more from like generally how we think about it from say like a standard point of view. I think a better way to think about it is more from a business point of view. Is the business from a, I guess, like a business outcomes perspective? Is the business affected by outages? Are your clients' customers impacted? You know, what difficulties do they go once they have an issue with your software? And do you have is excuses acceptable? Like, do you have enough excuses? And are customers going to be okay with that? And and sometimes like clients, you know, like it's honest feedback from them. They just say like, look, this takes too long, I might stick to paper, or I really need another way to do it because it's just making my life miserable. That's like honest feedback to generally improve your software and improve the performance, the workflow speed of the application itself. Um, and then the last one is like, as a business, by knowing or doing this analysis, you may be able to tune the application as such that you know, if you know that the load currently website can take is 50, and by tuning it, maybe you can double it to 100, and now you can double your sales or potential sales through that. So that's the real impact in this type of analysis. If you want to run through a few, there's plenty of examples. You want to run through a few of the in the past years that has been highlights and spoken about over the media. Takshila?
Yeah, as Jerome said, we have found several incidents. Here is an example for that. And in 2012, Olympic Committee announced that millions of tickets will be available for purchase online. But when users rushed to purchase tickets, they were ended up with errors because of the site failures. Um, and also there is another example. I can say that where an Australian e-commerce site failed to process the request during an shopping event. So during that time, they were not able to handle the load as expected. And there are many more incidents like New York City offers government website failure and the Black Friday website crashes in 2015. Likewise, so
Yes, I remember
yeah,
this one. This is like our local like a Cyber Monday or Black Friday deal sale, and it was harped about a lot over the media, huge media campaign. And even I was looking forward to purchase deals over this. And there was a big countdown going on, and just the time come, everybody just couldn't get in, and obviously they got it running the next day. But it was a big highlight over here for months. And in the recent years, again in Australia, we had a similar issue with our census website, digital census. They wanted to run a census for the first time like that, and was quite underplanned, and like nobody could get into it. Highlights the this is like highlights major impact, highlights how social is so much vital that any type of, even a small business, local business, the moment that they fail to respond, just get burned very quickly. um, and apart from this, I think I wanted to share another one, like DOS attacks on another form of like bots who take aim at your website, especially like if it's a particular type of e-commerce or particular type of technology, particular type of ports. Ports target your website. So you don't know if you're vulnerable to those. You don't know if you are getting pinged by those endpoints as well. So it is, regardless, it is a good thing to obviously have other prevention methods, but still make sure that generally your application works in such scenarios as well. Wanted to share with you stats from GigaOM survey, some of the common or popular open source and commercial cloud-based load testing tools that's out there. There's a few other charts on this, but this one was quite particular and relevant to our white paper, the middle usability column. If you can look at it, most of the tools fall into this capable, good but with room for improvement column. I think that's quite the general experience we have as well. There's a few that's marked as exceptional, outstanding focus and execution. But as you can see, usability is not a big strength of this software. And I wanted to run through a quick demo. JMeter is an open source load testing tool. I'm pretty sure pretty much everybody in this room is have heard of it or used it over the past 20 odd years. It's been a fantastic tool for various types of load testing. I'll quickly run through it just to show how it is. It's I'm not going to do any extensive showcase of it. So this is the Apache JMeter website. Takshila, can you confirm if you can see my screen?
Yes, Jerome.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
So here I have downloaded the release. I have downloaded the Unix version binaries here, and I've unpacked over here. I'm already in the bin directory, and I have made sure I have Java installed as a runtime, which is a requirement for JMeter as well. I'll run through JMeter, and loads it on my other screen. So here is the UI of JMeter. It actually looks much nicer than it did a few years before. So I already have a sample test plan initially. And to kick off things, I create this thing called a thread group, which simulates concurrency. I'm going to say I need 20 users. There's lots of other parameters. I will keep this brief and keep going. So we are going to run a test with 20 concurrent users. And I'm going to do a HTTP GET test. And the site that I'm going to test is this source demo. It's a website that is for load testing purposes, built for load testing purposes specifically. Just put the demo, the domain name, and that at this point, then I need to add a bunch of the thing called a listener, which shows my results. Simple enough. I'm good to run. Yes, it tells me to save it. I did my saving. So it's actually running it. Probably has completed running it. Yes, it has completed. Everything is this basically loading this particular page, the login page. A very straightforward test. Everything has passed. Obviously, I didn't select a good enough results view, so I'll go and select another. So it's called a listener. So I'll do a summary report and maybe aggregate report. This won't be populated. I need to rerun the test, which is a little bit cumbersome. Do that. And it runs very quickly. and yeah, that's results from that. So what I wanted to highlight here is this is a fantastic tool if you have the capability, development capability to run something like this. You need to know how to you basically need the development capability. You need to be able to understand the vocabulary, the technical terms, and sometimes development is such, like when I was looking for a report, it is called a listener. It's kind of counterintuitive. Um, and these are type of tools again may require particular type of resources, particular type of hardware. Especially 20 users is a small load, but if you want to plan for large tests, large simulations, then uh, it has requirements where locally to set it up and manage. It's not very straightforward. Um, Takshila, anything to add here? I'll keep going with this one. So this was our experience with with tools. This, I mean, like JMeter, it's a great tool. It allows browser-based testing, recording, playback, very advanced level test development, that sort of thing as well. We have used online load testing tools, different types of tools, and we wanted to see like what others in the industry feel about it, because certainly in some of the scenarios where we wanted to do some of the load testing, the tools came short, and that triggered the white paper in the first place. And to that end, as part of this white paper, we conducted 2 surveys, one for the technical group professionals and one for non-technical people like product owners, project managers, other types of managers, so stakeholders of products who may be interested, who have interest in their software. Takshila?
Yeah, Jerome. As Jerome said, we have prepared two kind of surveys. Here is the questions we ask from the technical professions like testers and developers. So in there we ask about whether what are the difficulties what are the difficulties in existing tools that they are using currently, and do you think your product will benefit from doing a load testing? And also we ask about what type of qualities and features do you would like to have in a load testing tool, and in when considering the non-professional survey, we are more focused on project managers and business analysts. So in there also we ask about uh, do you think you will be able to do a lot of testing with the current existing tools, and do you think it's a good idea? It is a good idea to run the load test by yourself to get a decision about your product. Likewise, and then we have summarized the survey results like this. So in here, the majority of people say that they have received a complaint from customers of their unresponsive of their websites, and the majority of people. So we analyze about what are the load testing techniques that currently they are using to perform a load test. So the most of the people are using a tool to perform load test in their web applications. And in here we some companies do not perform load testing tool for their web applications, and so we analyze what are the reasons behind that. So so most of the people said like the tool is more complex and it's kind of a time consuming job. And next, we summarize here the survey results as a product owner. Do you think whether you can use the existing tools or not? So, so the majority of uh, people say that they have not, they didn't have a clear idea about that, or they are not capable to use the existing tools. And the next chart reflect what are the qualities and features they would like to have in a load testing tool. So as you can see, the most of the people say that it would be better if they have more documentation on the tool about how to use these tools, and if there are more any user-friendly interfaces in there. So that kind of things are highlighted in here. And also we analyze what are the difficulties of using an existing tools. So so most of the people say that they have a steep learning curve, and also they need to have a special hardware or high specification computers to run the load test. Yeah, so Jerome,
Thanks, Akshila. So again, just summarizing some of the highlighted points. Um uh, I mean, good to see that most are using tools to carry out load testing. Many said they are getting complaints or some sort of feedback from the users about the sluggishness of the application, that sort of thing. Um, Top three challenges using hardware, kind of like hardware requirements related thing, and the steep learning curve. I think that everybody can raise their hands to that. That it's you need to be quite technical in order to use these tools. Reasons for not performing: tools are too complicated, time consuming, and too expensive. For me, the whole white paper and this thought process started off when a e-commerce product manager uh, was like looking to do some load testing before a major sales event, and he was so agitated by it. He just wanted to make sure that the e-commerce site will stand up to about 200 300 people, and that's all. And in order to get the load testing sorted, he had to go through various management tiers, and then he started to try to use some of the online tools, uh, and found them to be a bit sophisticated. And he was like quite frustrated and didn't expect it to be. He wanted to know if his uh, endpoint, his application, his particular workflow will just withstand or be resilient against about 200, 300 users, and not being able to do it in a straightforward fashion was quite frustrating for them. Top three features kind of expected from a new tool. Tool should have good, clear documentation, easy to understand the results, so it's not cryptic. Um, User experience, I think we can talk about it, even though the user experience now on like online tools is quite nice. There's lots in our industry, the tooling that can really do with a lot of user experience improvements. Um, and at this point, we want to divert the discussion to kind of outside quality assurance to compare with these three kind of giants right now who actually transformed their particular industries. Um, Canva is a digital uh, a platform tool where you can create cool graphics, birthday cards, business cards, things like that. Before Canva, to do something that looks like a professional job, you had to be a Adobe expert of some sort. Right now, after Canva, my 8-year-old daughter is quite the expert at creating all sorts of uh, Christmas cards to all sorts of brochures and invites. Pretty much it opened it up. So there's lots more people creating professional looking artifacts, digital outputs that they can use, print, share because of Canva, how well they build the product and how it opened up to a large number of audiences. Otherwise, I mean, we were just relying on experts to do our graphic work. Uh, Uber. Uh, Before Uber, it was all the taxi. Becoming a taxi driver in itself was the licensing involved, the particular taxi vehicle itself, the cab, the licensing fee for that. Here in Australia, it's quite expensive to do get a taxi driver license in itself. Uber just changed it for the consumers plus for the drivers in itself, from students to all ages of people are kind of transfer. You can become a taxi driver. Kind of transformed the entire industry by empowering people with the right workflow, right set of tools, right set of processes, that sort of thing. Before Airbnb, you kind of you didn't have as many options. You usually stuck to your hotels and word of mouth, local places, or stayed at your friends' places, that sort of thing. But with the Airbnb coming on board, the other day I was looking up Norway places to stay for about a month, and there's quite a few fishing huts by great lakes and so came up. I'm pretty sure without Airbnb, that wouldn't have been a possibility. These things have transformed the industry and opened it up um, to more people who would have never dreamed of like becoming a taxi driver, becoming a uh, uh, um, like a host, that sort of thing. I think the same thing is what is required for our industry as well. The whole purpose of this white paper was trying to, it was very difficult one to draft because it's common sense. It's common sense in the sense like it's so apparent that the tools we have are accessible only by a limited set of people. Um, and we as industry are not putting enough effort. I know there's a lot of cloud SaaS coming up right now, pushing these boundaries, thanks to a lot of new practices. But every tool that we as industry use, we need to scrutinize and see whether we can make it better and allow more people to use it. So what it means is, uh, so, so on the back of this, what we did was we attempted to create a tool in-house, a SaaS platform, just targeting product owners, managers, just wanted to keep the workflow quite simple, intuitive, because most of the time, all somebody wants to know is like, when I launch, will my website work with 50 people, 100 people? There's a lot of government agencies before they put out their endpoints. We work with court services, lot of social government council related websites. All of them sometimes don't load test and put it out because they can't afford to, they don't have the budget. But they know that, like if those product managers, they know I need to make sure that these websites work against at least 50 to 100 people at a given time. So I'll just run through our attempt. So this is still in development, so bear with us. And there's lots of things that we are hoping to improve. And probably for people who have used similar SaaS platforms, this may look a bit familiar. So we're calling it Footprint, and it's a SaaS-based online platform. We are trying to keep vocabulary to a minimum. I'm just going to go create a project. Add a project. And new test case. Opting for a record and play test via Hope. So what we have as part of this is extension that we have developed. I'm going to use this website again as my load testing endpoint. And we have, as part of this, we have built an extension. And this is the extension. I'll click start recording. And go through. No, I don't want to do that. Never. Add a couple of products and go to the checkout cart, checkout, and just continue downwards. And that's all I want to know. And I copy my test things. And this is in a beta state, so this is a bit of improvement. And we go to this next step. And here we can simply put how many users I want to run this with, and the time. Like it shouldn't take more than 2 minutes to complete that workflow. It shouldn't take more than 1 minute to complete that workflow, and run test. And it will just run through. I've asked it to run with 3 concurrent users. While it completes, I will open another version of this. So this is a previous one that I had run. And as soon as it runs, it gives you, if it's passed, and some stats in a brief way. And that's, I think most of the time that's all. Somebody wants to know if it is working well, and some graphs related to it. We are going to add more. You can look at a recording of the test in itself. So it records what it did for you. So that's like a visual feedback of that. This test is still running. I'll come back to it. So yeah, so the highlight from this was that we can create tools that should be intuitive and usable by more people without it being too technical and too confronting. And in conclusion, I guess tasks such as load testing, performance testing, and I think there's more examples of the similar practices that we should be opening up to non-technical people. I think we need to listen to them and see like if they also can take part in that particular practice, there should be tools that we should be building to make it accessible to them. A simple load testing, especially if a product manager, a stakeholder, business stakeholder wants to load test, this shouldn't have too many dependencies, shouldn't have a lot of technical jargon, shouldn't be too expensive. Some of the SaaS tools that we looked at when we wanted to do a concurrent run with about 1,000 users was running into a few dollars. So we think it's a bit too expensive, and that shouldn't be the case. And lots of user experience, there's in user experience design, there's human-centric design, empathy-based design. So we need to look at tools that focus on those, focus on the people who use it, and focus on the priority outputs that they are looking for, results that they are looking for, and as the industry, it's our responsibility to build a tool like that. This has failed. I will be able to look at. I can see the recordings of why it has failed. Glad I had a run of it previously, past run of it. If you guys are interested to know more about the load testing tool that we are building, for some credits and for if you want support with anything related to that, please feel free to reach out to us with any questions, with any feedback, comments, insights. Happy to support with those. Happy to take any questions if you guys have any. With that, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Takshila, for helping out with this presentation. I hope you guys enjoyed the rest of the conference. Thank you very much, PNSQC as well.